this body has a uterus. But here we are, being silenced yet again. And understand, when you're silencing us, we are actually elected officials like you all. So you're silencing millions of voters from every corner of the Commonwealth when you silence us and don't allow us to amend bills that won't let people vote, that won't allow women to make their own decisions. You're silencing all of us. So we need to suspend the rules and let this amendment come through before we rush this off to the voters. Those same voters that you tried to silence in 2020 when you didn't like the outcome of the election. Those same voters that you said didn't do what they chose. Those are the people you're trying to shut up.
Aha, that is Joanna McClinton. That's right, Pennsylvania Democrat. That was it before the Pennsylvania State House earlier this year. Very passionate. Well, guess what? The Pennsylvania Democrats have won the majority in the State House. I was looking at Malcolm, who's been on this show, saying, I might be in the majority. Yes, and it gets better. Yes, because look at her. You look excited to be here. Let me welcome her back. She is our friend. She is an election analyst and also political scientist. Let me welcome Rachel Bitecofer. Hello.
So excited to be here today, Karen. Woo.
Are you like, so, okay. Because some people were like gloom and doom. Stacey Abrams lost, Charles Booker lost. Gary Chambers got trounced in Louisiana. Shame on Louisiana. There's been, Mandela Barnes, not sure, it's like so many to me losses. Of course, there's some nice victories. What excited you about Tuesday night?
Listen, let me just say on that real quick point, like I'm an analyst and forecaster first, and then a strategist second, right? Because I'm a trained political scientist. And I'm here to tell you guys that Mandela Barnes lost a winnable race. Stacey Abrams ran a very tough race. And the only difference between her was the opponent, her and Warnock, right? Incumbency and, having a sane Republican against her mattered. So I do recognize, especially within the Black community, there was some heartbreaking losses, but they were in terms of our, an analytical framework in very, red states or very hard places. Let me tell you why I'm happy, because no party email is going to ever tell you, hey, we're heading into a midterm election. This midterm effect isn't made up by analysts. It's not something strategists or forecasters come up with to help one party over the other or to suppress somebody's vote. It's a mathematical fact, okay? 50 years of data, twice it's been disrupted. So disrupting a midterm effect is a massive achievement, especially for this political party, who is the one party that gets its ass kicked under the midterm effect the most, okay? So from day one, 2 years ago, when I left analysis world to turn into political strategy world, it was on the assumption that on election day of 2022, unless we changed a whole bunch of things, we were going to lose 50 seats in the House. And with it, guys, the capability to have a free and fair election for 2024. The fate of the 2024 election hung in the Midwest. And it's not like I could say for a year, it's those Midwest govs. Oh my God, Wisconsin gov. If we don't spend big there and hold Wisconsin gov, we may not be able to certify a Democratic presidential win in 2024, right? Because it would obviously increase the salience of that effort for the Republicans as well, right? So it's not like we put a lot of attention to the reality, but the reality for people like me, and the reason we're so happy and Jamie Harrison's happy and all these people on TV are happy, right, is we understood that if we did not stop this midterm effect from running roughshod over us, we would not have any option to save democracy for 2024. It'd be basically an electoral farce if you have election deniers running Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So the stakes for this election cycle were everything. And so, yes, I'm very happy. We have stemmed the tide of our Democratic emergency. We have bought ourselves 2 additional years to make sure we win and hold the federal government next cycle so that we can give this time for whatever's happening within the Republican Party to burn out. But, people should be over the moon about what we pulled off on election.
Thank you for your warm blanket of comfort, Rachel. You always bring you're gonna give us some truth. So that Kevin McCarthy may be the Speaker of the House, that's not a concern.
So here's the thing, guys. I mean, prior to, again, I've been operating for 2 years on the assumption we'd lose this midterm cycle, lose it bad, lose both chambers, and possibly the ability to administer a free and fair election. Those were my barometers, and they're probably different than yours. And understanding that what happened in the House with the losses, the completely unneeded losses in the House in 2020, which are the losses that sparked my current career trajectory, that lost our whole buffer for this midterm effect, guys. It wiped it out. We needed that buffer to hold on to the House. So we go into the cycle where they have every advantage, structural, economic, whatever, and money. And we understand we have a 5-seat margin of error in the House. So the House has always been, in my mind, almost an impossible reach. It was something I designed my strategy to shoot to do. Okay. But I never expected to control the House at the end of the day. What we have delivered for you guys, no doubt, is this. If McCarthy wins, if they win the House, it's going to be by
they haven't yet, as of right now,
and that, yes,
as of 11:10.
It's still
they don't have 218 seats.
That's right. Still a toss up on control of the House, lean Republican, but we'll see, because these California ballots, last time the California races looked the same way. And then as the ballots started to come in, they got bluer and bluer and bluer. So what I want to tell people is this: if Kevin McCarthy controls the House, it's bad because he's going to control the House, and the House has to originate legislation. So, anything Biden wants to do, especially economic stuff, has to come from that House. But Kevin McCarthy is going to be the biggest loser in the world if he's holding that speaker gavel with a 2, 3, 4, even 5-seat margin. And he's not going in there. He may do the things that he said he wanted to do, though I know now that he knows now that that would be the worst thing to do, given the drumming that they just took. Because, if they had not denied the election results in 2020 and come up with the big lie and all that, what they would have done is they would have looked and they would have been like, why did we lose? Okay, why did we lose? What do we fix to not lose the next election? That never happened in the party. Okay. Instead, the big lie kept them from having that autopsy moment. And what it caused is a double down on the same strategy that had lost the votes. Right. And they went into full steam ahead into 2022 running that. So it's bad for America. It's going to cause strife. It is going to cause economic pain for millions of people if the Republican Party controls the House and operates the way that we should assume that they will. But at the end of the day, it is not a coffin nail for democracy right now, because we whopped their asses so bad across the Senate and the gubernatorial maps that the most that they can do is put on political theater, really. And anytime they do that, they're going to be helping to reelect Joe Biden. Okay.
Now, break down the gubernatorial races and why that matters. Because what I'm learning, I teach at Hunter College, and our civics lessons don't happen in school anymore. And no one's watching Schoolhouse Rock. So for many people, and I gave the assignment, they had to go out and talk to people to find out, A, if they've ever voted before, and B, why now? What's important for them to vote for today? And, as I was listening to some of the interviews, it was like, well, only voted one lady from New York. I only voted in the presidential races. This is the first time, and I'm in my 40s, that I'm actually voting in a midterm. She's a huge Zellner fan or supporter. What's the guy from New York, the one that was running against Holcomb?
Zeldin.
Zeldin. I'm sorry. Hochul. And so she wanted him so she tried to get everyone in her family to come out to vote. But what that did, people came out to vote for him, and it shifted the legislature in New York because they had a large influx of people who wanted him to be governor. So they showed up for the midterms.
Yeah.
Explain why governors matter and how that actually helped hold democracy.
Yeah, again, what I expected, just because I really want people to feel joy. That's all I really want. I don't want to be proven right or have you like me. I want you to personally feel joy. So I'm going to tell you The governor, the secretary of state, and the attorney general will decide whether or not the electoral college process goes out in 2024. Okay. I mean, so governors do a lot of different things, and I'm not going to give a full civic lessons, but in terms of democracy, they determine whether we're going to certify the vote count, whether it gets sent up to the Congress, whether the ballots get counted, which ones get rejected. I mean, there's so much power in the state government. And one of the worst things that we've done for 30 years is not make that clear to our coalition, okay? Especially voters of color who have not had the opportunities necessarily to get the same civic recognition, right? So like the reason that turnout's higher or higher among college educated voters is they have that opportunity to realize, oh, okay, there's this multi-level government, there's a federal government, there's a state and local, and that they're doing kind of the same thing. There's some differences, military, whatever, but they each have taxes, they each have laws, they each can affect my personal life and my economic life, right? And we have not made that clear. And the Republican Party, and they also had that problem 20 years ago, but they decided what they were going to do was teach their electorate the importance of subnational elections. And that's what they've done for 20 years. And the first few years it took for them to kind of build the momentum, but we really start to see just explosive Republican dominance at state level, especially state legislative elections in 2010, right? And some of it's the gerrymandering, and everyone wants to put everything on gerrymandering, but a lot of it is strategy and focus. So, post this election is always about triage. Can you fight a midterm effect if you understand how it works and you attack it at its drivers? The answer to that is yes, but it didn't leave a lot of bandwidth for other things. And getting Democrats to cast full ballots all the way down for Democrats has to be a top priority.
866-801-8255. We have some callers as well. But I love the joy that you want to bring to people. Let's see if we can get at least one call in. Monica, North Carolina. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. You're on with Rachel Bitecofer. Hi.
Hello. Good afternoon to all. No disrespect to your guests, but we're here on the ground. We're not over the moon. There is nothing to be over the moon about because we were expecting to lose worse than what we did. Absolutely not. And Jamie Harrison, shame. They could have they could assist more than what they did. And by the way, did he even vote this time? No, we're not over the moon.
All right. Rachel, if you have like 10 more minutes for us, I want you to stick around because I'm looking at the clock. So Jamie Harrison was on the show during the midterms and during the primary, and he hadn't voted in South Carolina, and he caught COVID and he couldn't vote. So he didn't vote in his own primary in South Carolina. So that's what she's referring to. I said
I was wondering.
Yeah. And I said, if there's a trouncing, he should probably resign for doing things like funding Republicans and things like that. But I know it's all strategy, and you're agnostic. You're looking at numbers, you're a political scientist. So for you, what was forecasted didn't happen. So the losses for us are personal, like if Chris Jones is a friend of the show, him losing in Arkansas makes my stomach hurt. But that was a seat that was a Republican seat anyway. It's not like that changed. So let's talk. Can you stick around like 10 more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
All right. When we come back, I want to talk more about why we should have joy, which is why you're here. Rachel Bitecofer is in the building. 866-801-8255. And Don Calloway is joining us as well. We'll be back.
And when they died, man, they didn't just die for me, but they died for you because your freedom is shackling chained to mine.